Happy anniversary to me. 25 years of Gems on Vogue. The Gems on Vogue brand has been around for 25 years. That is such a long time. And I got to tell you, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm glad to be sharing it with you. And this is day 2 of our sale. So for 3 days, we're having a sale. Now, normally when we do a sale, prior to this, we choose the items. We go here. These are the items to celebrate our anniversary or whatever, or Labor Day, whatever. And it's usually 200 or 300 items. We give a big discount and that's it. But still on our website, we have like 5,000 items. What we've decided to do for my 25th anniversary of Gems on Vogue is to give you 10% off everything, including gold pieces, the odd platinum piece that we have, diamonds, all the expensive stuff. Everything is on sale, 10% off. Now, how do I get it? When you go to the website, you're going to see the regular price. You're going to say, whatever, he said 10% off. When you check out, there's a code. It's a discount code. A lot of people do that. Amazon, a lot of people do that. Same thing with us. The discount code is 25 years. The number 25 and the letters YEARS, plural, years. 25 years. That's it. So once you plug that in, that triggers the 10% discount on all your purchases. And there's no limit. You can buy 1 item, you can buy 50 items, you can buy 100 items, whatever you want to buy, no matter how expensive or inexpensive it is, you're going to get a full 10% off. Where does the time go? 25 years. Oh my gosh. Now I got stories to tell. I mean, the things that I've seen, the things that we've done, the places that we've been to around the world. I mean, just the most unbelievable stories. But let's get started. I'll feed in some of the stories here. We'll have a good time. London Blue Topaz. Man, I'm going to tell you something. When I began this journey 25 years ago, man, London Blue Topaz was so popular. We used to have, I remember doing an hour of just London Blue. People couldn't get enough of it. This is a big 8-carat stone. But what makes this ring special, Michael? 14-karat gold at 10% off. We don't discount gold. I mean, we've already discounted on our website anyway. But think of it. We're going to give you 10% off, and we're going to size it for you, and do free shipping and handling, and get 10% off in gold. Nobody's doing that. Check your price. That is just an amazing item, and you don't see a lot of London Blue Topaz. You know why? It takes 2 years for the treatment of London Blue Topaz. They take white topaz, and they put it through a treatment process. And everyone thinks that to treat something, you take it, you put it into a box, you press a button, and somehow it comes out the next day, and it's fine. Nothing could be farther from the truth. To create that color that you see on the turnstile takes 24 months. Nobody wants to do that anymore. There is, my understanding, only one company left that is doing the treatment on London Blue Topaz. And because of the decimation of the business with COVID, that company is gone. So right now, currently in the world, there is no active company doing the treatment for London Blue anymore. COVID has had an impact, and I think you'll be seeing this later on, and people will go on air and talk about it. It's had a very big impact. And a lot of things that we take for granted have ceased. There's regular stones now that I can't get. Everything has stopped. We're not doing so bad in North America, but once you get outside, to India, Brazil, Thailand, those places are really having a rough time of it. So getting gemstones that we took for granted is becoming harder. So product of this caliber, of this size, of this intensity is something that really brings me back to the way things used to be. And the price is so good, especially when it's at 10% off. Let me take you to a beautiful amethyst from Maraba. Maraba is from Paris State, which of course is in Brazil, or the state of Para, actually, how they say it there, north of Minas Gerais. And this is our wonderful, beautiful pink amethyst. Love it, 13.90 carat. I have sold so much of this stone because it has exceptional clarity. It's got really good color. And you know what? It's not a lot of money. So you put that together, you really have something exceptional. And look at the way we make this. Look at that wonderful, beautiful workmanship on the side. You know those bars that you see there? They're separately cast. And I want to show that to you. These bars are separately cast. I can take this time. See, this is a little bit more of education here. So why is that important? These little bars and the base are cast separately. Then they're pre-polished. And that's why it looks so good. So you're saying, okay, what's the big deal? Nobody does that at these price points. That's not done that in silver jewelry. People do that in gold jewelry. They don't do that in silver jewelry. But this is silver palladium, this is gems on Vogue, and this is why this program has honestly stood the test of time. It really, really has. And I mean, oh my gosh, I remember, you know, when you start off in this business and you start off at a shopping channel, you have to fight for airtime. I mean, airtime is like being in a vaudeville act. You've got to like do your thing and hope that the producer literally gives you more airtime and all this. And, you know, when I began Gems on Vogue, we would get, I think it was, this is back when it was called Shop NBC, where I got, or Value Vision back then actually. I think I would get 4 or 5 hours of airtime every 6 to 7 weeks. At the end of my career, because I lasted there 22 years before I left, and now I'm on HSN, I was doing 6 hours in a day. In a month, I would do 30 hours. I never could have imagined that I would have that many hours, that it would grow to the intensity that did. And it's because of people like you, thank you, that made it grow and all that. And because of that, I got to go around the world and visit all these places and get all these stones and bring them back to you. Not just Tucson. Everyone goes to Tucson. Tucson's a great show, but it's easy to get to. It's try going to Thailand, try going to Bangkok, try going to the Hong Kong shows, try going to Africa, to India, to South America, to Asia, to actually going into the mines, going to Burma, you know, that takes to do a 120-mile trip on a highway. It literally takes you 14 hours of driving, because there's cows and people and kids playing in the middle of the highway. You have to stop and wait till they clear away. I mean, it was unbelievable, going through 3 mountain ranges. Imagine you go up a mountain range, you go down, then you do it again, you do it again, you do it 3 times. Because Mogok is a valley in the middle of 3 mountain ranges. So the places I've been to, the things that I've seen in Brazil, getting to the Glaucoma mine, where there was a lightning strike and a tree fell in the middle of the road. And then before that, there was a dead horse because it was bitten by a snake, a viper, that killed it. I'm serious. All this is happening in front of you. The local villagers come and they start dragging the poor animal away, and they start to cut up this tree because we got a camera crew that we're going to go film in the mine. And all of this is happening. Half of this you don't want to put on Facebook because they're like, people might get upset there's a dead horse, but that's life out in the country. And it really changes you. It really does. You know, you learn a lot about what it takes to get a stone. If you only knew, I think everyone should go into a mine once in their life and just watch them extracting this from the earth. You can't even conceive how hard it is to get this material. And I think the prices that we have on air, considering what's involved in extracting this, is cheap, quite frankly. If you saw what they do to mine like tourmaline, you go, this should cost $50,000 a carat, and it should, but it doesn't. And that's the most amazing thing, that nature has all these gifts, and that we go through such work to extract them from the ground, and then we create such beautiful things like these 2 stones. Talk about 2 different parts of the world. First of all, the center stone comes from Tibet. I've never been to Tibet, but I've seen pictures. It's got to be one of the most exotic places in the world. And that, of course, is that wonderful, beautiful, beautiful andesite that you can see here from this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous bangle. I absolutely love that. And then, of course, we have the Ethiopian opal. And that Ethiopian opal on the side. Well, take a look at this. Talk about a piece from a very exotic land. First of all, the center stone is from Tibet. Okay, that's andesite, also known as part of the feldspar family. It's absolutely good, or known as sunstone. It all goes by these names. Beautiful, beautiful stone, high up in the mountains. And here is Ethiopian opal. The Wellow mine is on a plateau. There's only one village close to the mine. It takes the miners 2 hours. They have to walk. They can't take a car. You have to walk 2 hours. You got to go up the hill just to get to the place of work, and they can only mine it by hand. That's why there's almost no machinery used there. They can't carry it up. And then they have to walk 2 hours back to the village that has no electricity. It's one of the most remote areas of Africa. And this is what they have to go through to mine that stone. And it's incredible. So when you put that into perspective of what this is, it's just fantastic. I think that we can even own product like this. It's 2 carat 79, silver palladium alloy. This is one of my best sellers, and it's a full 25% off. Speaking of Brasilia, Kunzite. I still think one of the most magnificent stones. It is the first exotic stone that I ever presented when it was called Value Vision. This has that wonderful sidekick here, by the way. You know, it opens up here, allows you for easy entry. Is this stone, Kunzite. I was one of the first people to bring Kunzite there in any quantity. And that would be going back to 2001 and 2002 is when I really started to get heavy into Kunzite. And discovered the dealer accidentally from Brazil. I used to do a lot of Kunzite, and it was my first exotic stone on television. It's still a stone that's very, very popular. This is an item that you can acquire. The item number is on your screen. Remember, all you got to do is put 25 years as the discount code. Remember, if you want to get the 10% off, and yes, you want to get that, please put in 25 years. If you have a problem, you don't understand that, pick up the phone. Call Jennifer, 1-800-268-7962, and she'll guide you through it. It's really easy. You pick your item. Remember, free shipping and handling, free sizing, not a problem whatsoever. Pink tourmaline from Golconda. Interesting story here. The Golconda mine is, that's a beautiful piece. Take a look at that. Oh, I love that. Natural. And I want to show you, too, by the way, the Golconda tourmaline, as we spin around here, you go, look at this. It can have a little bit of a color change property. See that? It has a slight color shift property to it. So I love that. It's natural, untreated. The Golconda mine is a most interesting mine. It is a vertical shaft. I posted this on Facebook, the vertical shaft. And there's only one way to get into the mine. You can't walk into the mine. They have to lead you down a vertical shaft. And it's on a steel cable, and there is a belt. Now, it looks like, you know, the way you would wear like a belt on your jeans, you know, like one of those thick belts that you would buy like in Nevada or whatever, you know, at stores to sell cowboy boots. It's about double the thickness of that. And I don't know what it's called on a belt. You know how a belt has the hilt? I think it's called the hilt. It's a buckle. It's got the buckle, and it's got that little tongue that moves. You know, that kind of goes into into the leather belt. And the mechanism that they had to hold that belt together, half of that was broken. So the only thing holding you from falling straight down a shaft is, of course, this bar. And it's a leather belt. It's got the holes, and you know what I mean. It's got the little. It looks like a little shoehorn, and it's got that little bar there. And only that little bar was the only thing there, because that metal part was missing. And you really need one to anchor it. You know how a belt buckle works. And I went down there, and as I'm going down, I'm noticing that the shaft, there's shards of metal sticking out of the shaft. You say, why is a shard of metal right over here? It's because when they drill, the drill bits often break. And when they're in the stone, you can't get that out. Really, they should take a tool and they should just cut it straight out. They don't do that there. So I went down into the mine, and I could tell you stories. It's the most cramped little thing. And I remember the guy telling me, he says, you know, if we have something happens here, that's it. He says, you understand, you're taking the risk, you're dead. And that was one of the most dangerous places I've ever been to. They had just blasted. You could smell the acrid smoke and all this. And the miners there's 3 guys, and they just throw the garbage there because it's only them. They never get visitors. So it's guys, you know, it's guys, and they have a coffee or whatever, they just throw it there. So there's garbage, it's guys mining stones, you know what I mean? But when you're in there and you see the what we call the pegmatite, the pegmatite is like soft earth. And in a pegmatite, you get not just tourmalines, but you get quartzes. You can get 5, 6 different gemstones, species, right next to each other in a small little area like this, like a bread box. And you're digging, and you pull out a crystal of this, and you pull out a crystal of that. It's just like the movies. It really, really is amazing, but dangerous. And anyway, the story was the next day I was in Governador Valdorez, seeing another dealer. I've known him for years. I was buying some beautiful rough from him. I told him when I went down the line, he looked at me. He says, you're crazy for going down that mine. He says, look at my uncle there. He points to a man who has only one leg. He says, he was in that mine. This is true, I'm not exaggerating. He was in that mine a year ago. Same belt. He fell down and he had his leg sliced from one of those bars of steel. And he says, if something happened to you, you would have died there and there. He says he almost died there. They had to, put the belt around his leg, get him back up there, and they had to like cauterize the wound. Believe it or not, he almost died. And I thought, oh, so these are some of the stories that I can tell you about during my travels. There's so many. I could spend hours telling you about things that have happened, but that Brazil trip was one of the most dangerous trips I've ever done. That and Mogok. I almost died in Mogok. That's another story for tomorrow. I'll tell you about that when I jumped over a gully and almost got cut in half, literally. And, there's no safety standards there. But people who are there all the time, you would think people get injured all the time. They don't. It's like being on a construction site. My son works in construction, and he says, Dad, I know where everything is. And we know, don't go here, don't go there. He says, the only people that get hurt are visitors that come in. They don't know what they're doing. Oh, they fall over. Do you know what I mean? But when you're there every day, you kind of know what to do and what not to do. So that's the way it is in mining. So it's interesting. It really, really is. But 25 years has been fantastic. Again, go to our website and pick anything you want. It's 10% off. Remember, the discount code is 25 years. That's the discount code, and it applies to everything, including our gold items, which I'm very excited. I fought for that. I wanted the gold items, and I wanted the diamonds. I wanted everything at 10% off, and it is. Remember, shipping, handling, and sizing is always included.